Many of us have those stubborn pounds that seem impossible to lose, no matter how good we eat or how hard we work out. My solution is PlushCare. PlushCare is a leading telehealth provider with doctors who are there for you day and night to partner with you in your weight loss journey. They can prescribe FDA-approved weight loss medications like Wegovy and Zepbound for those who qualify. Plus, they accept most insurance plans. To get started, visit plushcare.com/weightloss. That's plushcare.com/weightloss.
Quality sleep is essential. That's why the Sleep Number Smart Bed is designed for your ever-evolving sleep needs. Need a bed that's firmer or softer on either side? Helps you sleep at a comfortable temperature? Sleep Number Smart Beds let you individualize your comfort so you sleep better together. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number number 1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, save 40% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed for a limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Hello, EggChasers. It's the EggChasers Rugby Podcast, the podcast about rugby that doesn't take itself or the game too seriously. Back in the rugby dungeon again, as we have been for nearly 11 seasons, closing in on the end of this season, and we've got URC semi-finals to talk about. We've got international windows for the summer tours. Although, just on the summer tours, sorry, I'll let me get through all the formalities. JB's there.
Hello, Tim.
Socks off, shoes off,
Yep.
OnlyFans ready. Phil's here.
Hello, Tim.
In kind of military colours.
I mean, yeah, well, military green track top.
Nice.
Grey shorts.
Yeah. Summer. Like, we're going to the Southern Hemisphere where it's winter. Like,
Yes,
it's quite arrogant of us to go, it's the summer tour.
It is our summer tour.
We should just call it July, the July tours.
No, summer tours. No,
But we call it the autumn tours when they come up to us.
Tim, grow up. No, grow up. We made the whole world speak English. We can make them comply with our seasons. Come on now.
I think it might officially be the mid-year tests.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Maybe.
I
But
think
to
it's something
us,
else down south.
Because it is
to us
officially
it's
called the
summer tour.
Autumn Nation Series when it's in November.
It's autumn, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is here.
Do they call
That's-
it the
that's
spring
kind of my
tests?
point.
I think they might call them the spring tours or something.
Oh, maybe
yeah, they might do.
I'm sure they call them something else.
If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, what do you call it?
Mid-year tests.
Let us know.
Winter tests.
Yeah.
Well, you say it's summer, but I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in Perth yesterday, and so he was saying that he went for a dip in his pool yesterday evening after the temperature had dropped low enough for it to be a kind of recovery pool session. Massive humble brag from him. Because the nighttime temperature had just dropped 1 degree below the peak daytime temperature yesterday in Manchester. The coldest it got yesterday in Perth, 12 degrees in the middle of the night. The warmest it got in Manchester yesterday, in the middle of the day, 13 degrees.
Phil, what are you complaining about? We
Summer.
just had the hottest May on record. That's what the Met Office said.
Yeah, you've got to trust the science on everything.
All of it.
Everything. Got to trust it.
Right, so we've got URC semi-finals, as I mentioned. There's top 14 stuff. In fact, as we are recording this, which is Happy Father's Day, by the way, guys.
Oh, thanks, yeah.
Thank you.
Well done for all your efforts over the last year.
Yep.
But as we sit and watch this, I've got on my phone the Access match in top 14. We're currently with, hold on, how many minutes to go? 16 minutes to go. Grenoble are beating Montpellier 18-17.
Oh, wow. I didn't
And
realise what the score was.
And if they beat Montpellier, they are in the top 14. And Altrad, with all of his billions and all of those superstars, that absolutely potentially. Well, what would that mean? Billy Vunipola and Maka Vunipola won't be announced as signings for Montpellier, surely, if they don't make top.
That would make sense.
Potentially,
What would
yeah.
they do?
Stuart Hogg.
Thing is, you say that, right? There's a lot of money on the table there. And I don't think those boys have got that many options. I mean, who the hell is coming in for Stuart Hogg last minute?
Yeah.
What, is BT Sport going to throw him back on TV? Like, one of the Premiership clubs going to have him there? Nope. Think he's burnt his bridges in Scotland? Probably. Like, where is he going to go? So he either wants that money or he doesn't want that money, and that's where it would be.
So they might. So let's take the Vunipolas, who have definitely been announced as leaving Saracens, not through being retired and not through being released, because they've got another offer, but they've not been announced from the other side of that table, which everyone thinks is Montpellier, which could be because they've got a release clause in their contract should Montpellier be relegated. But if Montpellier are relegated, who else has got, I don't know, 200, 300, 400k for an individual Vunipola to go into their squad at this late stage?
Presumably they're going as a pair.
Maybe Grenoble.
Maybe, because like Mark Evans said, he's looking at on the Economics episode, which is in the feed right now. Hit subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. He said that he's now looking at all the deals for next.
Yeah, there will be no salary cap.
And he's, in his words, if you're looking at players for the next season, you've got problems.
Yes, yeah. Well, it's because as of the 1st of July, and there was a good piece by, it might be Ben Cole's, can't actually remember, but the good piece on when players become available. So as of the 1st of July, anyone whose contract expires next year, conversations will start happening.
Yeah. Anyway, the other thing is we're doing this podcast slightly earlier than we normally do because there is a huge sporting occasion on the continent which we need to make sure we've got eyeballs on. It's on TV. There'll be millions of people watching it. It's one of the biggest cultural
My daughters
events.
are staying up for it.
They are.
They are, yeah.
Of course, Bordeaux are hosting
Racing
92 in the 2014 semi-final. There's nothing else going on, is there?
Not enough.
Not at 8 o'clock tonight. Definitely not.
Nothing at 8 o'clock tonight. So contact eggchasers@gmail.com is the email address. You can get in touch with us. I'll pepper the email with some of those. But firstly, before I start, I've got a donation to make to the dungeon.
Donation?
Ooh.
Donation
Yes,
to
you're
the
so
dungeon.
interesting. You don't say where you were, or...
No, yeah, I can.
I'm surprised that when we talk to you now, you don't have a black strip across your eyes.
So I just want to make it clear. This is a donation like that I made of Jackson Ray's
what
boots.
have we got here?
I made a donation of Jackson Ray's boots to the dungeon, and JB gave them away. So this is like a museum piece, which if there's ever a divorce or a conscious uncoupling, I will take this back. But it's a coin for Paddy Mayne Cup 2024.
Oh wow!
Awesome.
Pilgrims RFC, the 22 SAS Regiment Air Service, the Special Air Service Regiment, and a little commemorative coin.
Oh, that
for the Paddy
is
Mayne
stunning.
Cup.
Look at that.
Fantastic.
Right by the Llandudno RFC slate.
Yeah.
So you went to the Paddy Mayne dinner last night?
Yes, it was the Paddy Mayne Cup yesterday, and it was the.
What was rugby like? More importantly,
It was good. It was 24 all with seconds to go, and the 2-2 SAS Regiment team scored a last minute try.
Now,
awesome
to win it.
The 2-2
against the Royal Signals.
Right. Okay. So I would assume that the 2-2 SAS are a very small team. Incorrect or correct?
Why would you think that?
Because a lot of these special forces guys spend all their time running about. They're very wiry. They're very sort of lean. It's like everyone assumes that the Navy would be made up of Marines at play, and it's not true. It's people that like wrestle with bombs all day, like the RAF. A lot of their guys are weapons loaders because they're literally wrestling bombs and they're massive. Whereas the regiment guys or the Marines are very, very small and they run about. That's what they do. They're very lean.
No, there was a lot of proper alpha male types.
Oh, that I have no doubts about. I mean, that is never. But I thought it'd be lean and small and be able to run a long time.
Used to run in 20 miles with 30 kg on their backs.
Well, because a lot of these soldiers are deployed, and they're deployed in the manner that the Special Air Service deploys its forces, like the hairstyles, the beards, everything. It's like kind of whatever you want.
They're all over the show.
Yeah. In a quite non-military way, and
well, you say that.
Well, no,
they stand out a mile.
Oh yeah,
I mean that's the.
But not like the feds in America when they're undercover at big events, who all have the regulation crew cut haircut and the same outfit. But no, it would. Also, what I found amazing about the 2-2 SAS regiment is it's a classless site. So you don't have, I think, due to this very special nature of what the individuals there do, it's a very different culture to the military generally. So you don't walk around with a major who has to salute a colonel or even address him by his rank. That like it's rank. No ranks are not referenced when you're on site, which I found really interesting.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So there's no officers' mess versus.
Well, there is an officers' mess and a sergeant's mess.
Okay,
but yeah, and I went into the officers' mess. I cannot tell you on the podcast. I wouldn't tell you on the podcast some of the things I saw in the officers' mess. Some of the commemorative.
Oh, not the drinking
items. Oh, the drinking in the sergeant's mess. I wouldn't spill the beans on that either. All I say is it was very loose and there were no mobile phones, and that was a rare treat.
Are you allowed to divulge who was in the
Yeah. England World Cup 2003 World Cup winning captain Martin Johnson, former England captain and World Cup winner Lewis Moody, former England captain and World Cup winner Martin Corrie, Ben Kay, Austin Healey, David Flatman was the MC, Zach Mercer, and others. It was really
awesome.
Good. It was great.
That's cool. Yeah.
It was excellent. And I'll spill the beans on a bit more later on.
Fantastic.
Still 10 minutes to go, and it's still 18-17 to Grenoble.
So if you were there
Yeah.
at the Paddy Main match and then dinner, did you get to watch any of the rugby?
I caught the last half hour of Bulls against Leinster as we went back to Major Lee's house and just before we got ready to go out for the evening dinner, and watched the end of that. How Leinster discuss.
They're a joke, aren't they? I mean, it's just a joke now. I mean, I think it actually plays to their advantage in some ways. I mean, the big one is they have a proper identity now, don't they? Much like the like the Chicago Cubs. Like, that's who they are. They're guys that don't win. And I was talking to an Irishman this weekend, actually. I was talking to a couple of Irishmen about rugby on Friday.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought you were going to say, after Saturday's result, you were calling every Irishman you knew.
No, it's on Friday night.
Yeah.
And they're saying it's just a thing in the Irish psyche. Now, I don't believe that, actually. I don't think that, they're just innate losers, because they have Munster within their borders and they tend to win things.
Although not this weekend.
But they're just not this weekend. So I don't think it's necessarily that. But you want to laugh, don't you? I mean, you want to laugh because it is hilarious. On the other hand, being fair, do you really have a problem if you are in the quarterfinals? Semi-finals.
Three semi-finals in a row in the URC.
Yeah.
And losing finalist in Champions Cup. That is the thing.
I mean, the Dragons would take it, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But then it's the comparison of the resources. Like that Leinster playing squad, the market value of that Leinster squad, not necessarily what they are actually paid, but the market value of that, if all those players went to, say, the top 14 or Japan, would be as big as any team in the world.
Yeah, you're right. And also, there's a thing...
Well, maybe Toulouse would be the only team you would say that would exceed it, and they only just, and this is the difference, they only narrowly, they're one slightly better drop kick away from beating Toulouse.
And they've beaten Toulouse numerous times in knockouts.
Yeah.
So there is a saying, isn't there, don't be content with what you've achieved, be content with what you've achieved with the ability you have. And then, on that basis, it gets a bit dicey for both Ireland and Leinster, in my opinion. Bit dicey. It's not the end of the world, though, is it? I mean, they are still semi-finalists. They are still finalists.
But the psychological scars of all of the last 3 years.
Do you know what I think the problem is with them? For so long, they have walked around like they've already won things. Like they were already the World Cup champions in their mind. They were already the European Cup champions every single year. Not only in their minds, most journalists' minds too. They're already the incumbent.
I'm sure it wasn't in their minds. Yes, in.
Do you not think? I think it is. I think they strut around all the time like they're champions of something, and actually they're never champions, or very rarely champions.
Well, the thing is, the point I would disagree with you on is that they are Six Nations champions and last year's Grand Slam champions with almost the same group of individuals, and so that leads me to say, what's going on at Leinster that means. Because if they'd have lost 2 finals but won this year's, or won one URC or lost in a couple of finals, you kind of go, well, as you say, thereabouts, but it's semi-final, losing finalist, and not one of those 6 finals have they managed to, or matches have they managed to change the script. But that same group of Leinster players, I think if they're sat in a room with Andy Farrell, they feel very differently than when they're sat in a room with Leo Cullen.
Just think they get lucky. I think the crossover between Ireland and Leinster is probably a little bit toxic, because when I said that they feel like champions, they probably do feel like champions. They have achieved something. Well, no, they haven't, have they? It's that winning the Six Nations Grand Slam was fine, but everybody. Well, I say everyone, certainly I was, red alert as soon as they win the Grand Slam, because that is almost the sign of peaking too early, impending doom, almost certain annihilation, which actually happened. And then they go and win the Six Nations, and they are champions of the Six Nations, but that, I think, I'm going to say, as far as, I won't go arrogant, because that's slightly derogatory, but certainly complacent.
But I think you can paint that. From what I hear from like listening to and watching interviews with the players, I don't get that at all.
Yeah,
you can easily paint that picture just by like looking at the results. But when you listen to them, I don't get that. But there is something that's changed, because if you try and paint them as perennial losers, for example, I think just maybe not. You use words similar to that, maybe not quite those exact words at the start.
Are they losers? Yeah.
But then, so you look at Leinster. Leinster have been in just Champions Cup. Leinster have been in 8 Champions Cup finals, which is the same as Toulouse. The first 4 of those, 2009, 2011, 2012, 2018, they won. They were 4-0 wins from finals. The last 4, 19, 22, 23, 24, they've lost.
Yeah.
2 words, Johnny Sexton.
I'm not even sure it's that.
I think he's that much of a
It's
difference.
not one man. Rugby's never one man.
But with the margins being so fine, they won 4 and now they've lost 4. With Johnny Sexton, without Johnny Sexton.
But Johnny Sexton did play at least 2 of those.
He did play 2 of the last. He did play 2 of the last ones when he was 35 and 37.
Yeah. He might have even played last year. Did he play last year?
No, he had to watch him in the stands, if you remember, the last game against La Rochelle.
Yeah. I mean, poor Ross Byrne. I feel sorry for him because...
Yeah, I feel sorry for him, but he's not Johnny Sexton. He does a lot of things well. I'll tell you the biggest thing about Ross Byrne that he doesn't do, and this is what I saw again yesterday. Take the ball to the line. He doesn't.
Hates it. Coward.
Someone who does, because we're talking about the Leinster, the trajectory, the past. Someone who does take the ball to the line, Johan Usen.
Oh, yes, he does.
He really takes the ball to the line.
Him and Villy LaRue.
Yes.
As the double distributors.
Well, the guy who really takes the ball to the line and quite often over it, whether he needs to or not, is Andre Pollard. It's a very South African thing. I imagine Butch James is quite fond of smashing into the line too. I think it's in their heritage, is it not?
Just a quick update. There is 6 minutes to go, and it's still a 1-point game with Grenoble in front.
Wow. Yeah. Is it not too lagged? No. They just go to Grenoble.
Just one game, and the Pro D2 side are at home in the playoff match.
That is one of the most unusual psychological events in rugby, isn't it?
The access match, yeah.
Have a playoff for being so bad, and then going. I mean, when you have a playoff, you'll have your nervous energy because you think you're going to achieve. You're a couple of games away from the big one. Going into a playoff away from home because you're awful.
After a season where you've been awful against a team who are at home, and the reason they're there is because they've been brilliant.
Yeah.
Or very, very good.
It might be unique in sport, that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else like it? I can't think of
anything, no.
A losing playoff.
Oh, Montpellier, 7 metres out. On Leinster, so Ross Byrne is trying his very best. He's not Johnny Sexton. Leinster have not addressed some key issues in recent years. Their backup props not good enough, and they haven't given game time to young men. Nope. Their backup scrum half is like night and day from Jameson Gibson Park.
Isn't it,
Luke McGrath is just not good enough anymore.
But he is an international.
Yeah,
he is.
I thought he's very good.
It's like glacial slowness, speed. His service.
But is he glacial slow, or is the other guy just really good? Because you could get, the backup to Anton Dupont being the second best scrum half in the world, and you say, well, he's not good enough. Well, he's not going to be, is he?
Referee's just given a penalty to Montpellier, and it's
kickable.
Very kickable. Very likely 3 points. Carbonell went through, and refs pinged a player not rolling away. It looks quite a harsh pen to me. Anyway,
so do you know if Gibson Park was injured? Because
yes,
was he?
Yeah, he got clocked. I mean, we can very briefly touch on the refereeing, which was like wild. I've watched the game fully today. Wild, like that ref let everything go.
Who was
the
the
TMO as well? I can't remember the guy's name. Sam
Welsh
Grove or something like that. And Ben Whitehouse was the TMO, who was like. It looked to me like they were both scared to make a decision.
Why so? Give me an example.
Well, the rucks would... Okay, there was one ruck in particular. This is an example, but this is how every ruck was. It looked like a game from 2009. Okay. I know we've watched those old videos of that Lions series.
Yes.
South Africa v the Lions.
Which was... Some of the stuff in that would...
It was like that.
It would never happen these days.
It was like that.
In normal games.
One example, Joe McCarthy lying on the floor, deliberately pinning the ball and a player in. Ref lets it go. Scrum half eventually manages to dig it out, and Joe McCarthy on the floor just grabs the scrum half and pulls him down, and the ref just goes, on you go.
I do think, that isn't... So, whatever the ref gives you, you got to play with. I mean, we've spoken about this
You've got to react to it.
Yeah, forever. So I'm not going to go into that. But, you can't whinge about the ref as long as he's the same for both sides. As for the more unstructured stuff, when the refs just let it down, let it go, I do think the South Africans have, for some reason, just a much bigger advantage because they're so much more aggressive. Whereas I think the English and the Irish guys coming through those private school systems, very much on tram tracks, very much, there's certain parameters to which they play to. And not that they're not aggressive, they're just not aggressive in the same way.
They are aggressive within the confines of the law as it's played generally, and particularly in those schools.
And it just seems to fry their mind when
it goes wild.
Yeah. As opposed to a bunch of massive South African farmers who are just fine with it. Whatever.
I did see there was a clear out on Jameson Gibson Park that was particularly wild.
Yeah, that's the one that sent him off. That they got him taken off.
Taken off. Oh, okay. So that led to the takeoff. Yeah. But that didn't lead to a red card.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
That challenge is nothing.
I think it was not anything, was it?
I don't think it was anything.
No. I think it was fine.
Play on, let the boys play.
I think it was let the boys. It was a very, as I say, if that's how rugby is, I can. It just looked strange in 2024.
In today's context,
seeing it being officiated.
2009, and any time before maybe 2014, 15, 16, fine.
Just remember where you're playing, boys. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Remember where you're playing and who you're playing.
But then a question on that, on the refereeing, because I've only seen the highlights. There was URC, 6-minute highlights, something like that had a lovely try going out wide in the first few minutes. Big, long Johannesson pass to get the winger into the corner. That was then called back, but not for a forward pass. It looked like some
clear
ruck
out.
infringement.
Van Staden
was it
decked someone?
Yeah.
Okay, because they didn't actually show the reason why it was disallowed on those highlights. It didn't
seem to me like it affected the try actually, because the Van Staden threw someone to the ground. It was the 10, I think, who had nothing to do with the play. I'm assuming Van Staden thought that he'd got the ball. He throws him to the ground, but then that pass that Goosen makes, or Goosen, is a massive, massive miss pass. So it didn't really matter the inside defender wasn't there.
Yeah, but if you do, it depends if it's if you clear someone like a blocking thing that affects play, then obviously that's a disallowed try. If you do a technical infringement like a blocking thing, but it doesn't affect play, then it's play on. But if it's like a foul play,
it was on the board of foul play, if not actual foul play.
Yeah, if it's foul play, then regardless, like for an extreme example, if you punch someone on the right wing as the winger goes in on the left wing, that's not going to stand.
Yeah,
that is no try.
Anyway, so Leinster have got their issues and their cross to bear, but Bulls. Cameron Hanekom looks like a 50-cap Bok to me, number 8.
22-year-old Cameron Hanekom.
He's so good. Welsh qualified.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Elric Lowe looks awesome as well. What's the guy? Wilco Lowe, former Quinn.
Yeah.
He absolutely mullered Andrew Porter.
They smashed them up front. Yeah. To be fair, they absolutely annihilated them. And they're not even the big name Boks. I mean, Steenkamp Bok.
No. Wilco Lowe would be 4th or 5th choice tight head.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
And they've got Excel Shark, Akker van der Merwe. Yeah.
Yeah, and
if anyone's ever seen him, he is an incredible player.
Huijsen and Willy Leroux were just awesome. They're so good. So, yeah.
How old are they both now? Like 35-ish?
Willy Leroux's 35.
Huijsen's younger than you
he's
think.
Younger.
He can't be.
He's about 30, I think.
31, maybe.
He seems to have been around so long.
Because he was...
There's no argument he could be the Box 10. I mean, they've got so many good choices.
31.
Libok, Pollard...
So Johan Huijsen, so he turns 32 in a month and a half.
Masuku.
But don't forget he had maybe 2 years out managing cattle farms.
Yeah. So, did a hell of a job.
Well rested.
Not so much wear on the tyres, some might say.
Exactly. Although I'm sure he had a pretty penny to spend around that time.
Yeah.
For various different reasons.
Did he go to the Cheetahs for a little while?
Yeah, I think he did.
What a waste of talent.
He was the highest paid player in the world at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Good player.
Very, very good player.
And Glasgow deserved to beat Munster as well.
Well, just before that, do you think there's some major regrets in the halls of power, say in Ireland, that they let these South Africans in the first place? Because they really have ruined the party for everybody. And I love it. I mean, I don't like the Bulls. I think they're cowards. I think they should have played.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah.
The Bulls being cowards.
Oh, sorry, I'm just going to pause you there.
Oh, no.
Oh, full time.
Is the dream over?
20 points to 18, Montpellier win.
The result that no one wanted.
So
Billy and
tomorrow
Hoggy.
morning,
Yes.
Billy Vunipola will be announced as a Montpellier player, and possibly Stuart Hogg as well.
Unrip those contracts.
Let them in. Well, there'll be 3 different winners in 3 years of the URC. That's pretty cool. And if Glasgow win it, it would be 3 different countries.
Yep.
Yeah, and while I'm sure the IRFU and Leinster won 4 on the bounce between, say, 16 and 20, that kind of period, I'm sure they like that, but they also like having the additional millions that the TV deals in South Africa brings into the league.
I mean, I don't actually know the finances. I don't know if it makes a substantial difference or not, actually. I mean, I just don't.
South Africa, population of 50 plus million people, 55 million people, and is maybe the biggest rugby consuming market on the planet. Yeah, you would know from your YouTube channel.
I mean, I'd just like to know what it was before and after, and what their next deal is like. Because I know some of the Premiership figures. I don't know the URC figures, so that would be genuinely interesting to find out.
It will be harder because, so the TV deals, as I understand them, so when the Premiership deal gets announced at whatever the last one was, 140 million across 4 years or whatever it was, that would be the English deal. There would then be a separate deal for the Premiership to sell to, say, a Supersport in South Africa, which it might be 1/20th or less because there's less demand for it. Same as in, there'll be one in France. Same as the NBC. Is it NBC? The deal in the United
Peacock.
States.
Yeah.
Peacock now. So there'll be all different ones, but so there'll be a South African deal that the revenue would go back to the URC. There'll be an Irish deal, which the Irish TV deal might not have changed very much at all.
Filtered through, obviously, the the CVC third, which they obviously need to pick up. I mean,
Of course.
It'd be almost immoral not to let them wet their beak.
Yeah, so I'm certain the URC as a whole, their revenues would have gone up substantially.
And a lot of people criticise the South African teams. I certainly do. Certainly, the behaviour of the Bulls in the European Cup was just dreadful, really. So I do hope that they lose, but they have made a huge difference in my mind to how much I want to watch URC. I will watch South African teams. I have still no interest in most of URC. I mean, when I used to think of URC, it's sort of like windswept, barren, poorly attended, rocky outcrops of rugby, like the Connacht are playing someone else
In the middle of winter.
no one's watching.
Yes.
You know, the wind is whipping off the surrounding dog track, and it just looks miserable.
Icicles off the
And it pans
noses
out,
of the
right.
2 fans who are in the stadium.
Yeah, and it pans out from the stadium. You basically look like you're playing rugby in Craggy Island. So I was like, oh, do I want? But then the South Africans have shown up with real teams, and those teams are getting stronger every year.
We're just on the Bulls, and to dovetail it with the Champions Cup, like you, I hate the Bulls because it actually doesn't it vindicate that choice to do what they did against Northampton Saints?
Not for me. I'll always think
The fact that they're favourites to win, if they win, they could have their name on the trophy next week.
Okay.
And Jake White chose URC over Champions Cup.
he needs to be competitive in both. That's what he's paid to do.
Well,
It's the pinnacle of the sport. Pinnacle of the sport is the Champions Cup. Right, it's one extra game.
Yes.
And if they were any good, they might have had 3 extra
But
games.
if you're a South African team, if travelling to South Africa is part of it, Leinster didn't send their full strength team to South Africa in the groups in the league season,
which is fine.
only in the knockout.
So you're saying that the Bulls should copy a bunch of losers?
Yeah.
Well, I'm saying
I think
it might.
I think the Bulls.
The decision may well be vindicated if they win next week.
Well, they could win anyway.
I think it is. I think the decision is already vindicated. Because I'm of the opinion that sport is of very fine margins, and you can do something that is slightly different, good or bad. The only thing you get judged on is the result. So they threw that game, but in throwing the Champions Cup game, they have to win. If they don't win, it's a disastrous decision. If they do win, which they are on track to do and have beaten Leinster, it is the right decision.
I 100% disagree with that for the following reason, which is if you win or lose, fine, okay, and there is strategy within the league itself. So we've all seen people within the actual league that they're competing with, throw a game in order to win the next game.
We've seen people do that in Champions Cup as well.
But to throw a knockout game is completely different. So, like, if they said, look, we're not going to send a team in the Champions Cup.
They were in the game with 60 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, but
it was only when they sent their second choice team, who actually
did all right.
Who did all right against the best team in England.
Yeah.
And it was only when they brought their third choice players on that they lost the game.
Well, there you go. It's unacceptable. So, we've all seen people throw games in Champions Cup when they've either got no chance of qualifying, or they're ahead by such a big margin that they can play the kids.
I guess the choice is here. If they were not from South Africa, I would 100% agree with you. But the travelling involved is not a small matter.
No, it's not.
And it might be a reason why you say you shouldn't have them in the Champions Cup.
Yeah, there is absolutely that argument that they shouldn't be there, but they are there and they signed up for it. And that's the important point. They signed up for it, right? Okay, so they had the option to be in it or not, and they signed up for it. We see what damage the travel can do when there's an absolutely great team, and they are a great team, in La Rochelle, who went to South Africa, had to travel all the way back to Dublin, had a stop off somewhere in Ireland, and it was too much for them. And they got absolutely battered. But at least they tried. I have a lot more respect for that than the behaviour of the Bulls. A lot more.
But in that scenario, if you play that scenario for the Bulls, they could have tried and failed, and then failed on both counts.
Work it out. That's what you're paid to do.
But then...
But they have.
That's why a World Cup winning coach made the call that he made.
No. If you throw a game, you've not worked it out. Right, you've thrown away a whole competition, you've not worked it out. If you throw away a game in the group stages because you've already qualified, fine. If you throw a game games in your league because you already won the league, fine. To get rid of a whole competition, the height of the sport.
I know. I guess the calculation.
The
calculation that he's made is, I am calculating, and in my estimation, as a World Cup winning coach who's been a club rugby coach for decades, I am making the decision that based on the resources I have, I cannot win both.
Yes,
so I'm choosing to try and win one.
Well, but you've got to try and win both. And you say, look, I can't win both with what you've given me, and you've got to work it out. I have no time for it. I think it's absolutely awful. I have no time for it. Look, Ron O'Gara probably knew he's going to struggle to win both. Right, he's never won the top 14, and no doubt they would much rather win the top 14.
Hasn't he?
Don't think so.
No, did they not win it 2 years ago?
I'm not sure.
No,
I thought it was the one
2 years ago.
Oh, did they do the double 2 years ago?
They did it between. Oh no! Toulouse won it last year.
Yep.
And then was it Montpellier before that?
It might have been, yeah. And it might have been something like.
They won the Champions Cup, but no top 14. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
so they would love to win it, and they put their best foot forward, and I like that. That's real coaching. That's real balls. And they tried to figure it out. They stopped off in Ireland. They tried to do everything they could to win both competitions. You got to respect that.
Not if it means losing one. I genuinely back the decision, the Jake White decision. Had you've lost, and if he loses next week, then I jump back to not backing it, because you got to. It's sport, professional sport can only be judged on results.
Yeah, well, the result is he threw away a game.
If he throws away a game to win a league, that's vindicated.
He's got to win both. You can't just throw it away. I mean, what if he took his best lads and he got knocked out? Okay, he took the best lads and got knocked out. Presumably, that one extra flight is not going to prevent them getting to where they are.
Well, I think that's the calculation he's made.
So it's the gamble.
That is his exact calculation.
No, I think that the gamble's actually worse than that. I think the gamble is, I don't want to win this because I don't want the subsequent games. Right? That's why, and that's why it's wrong. I don't want the subsequent games because winning that one game isn't going to make a difference, or playing that one game isn't going to make a difference.
So would it have been okay to have won that one game because you shouldn't have thrown it away, and then then at that point calculate that he needs to throw the next?
Well, no, then you just go, right, we need to win this game, and one game at a time. Every coach says it, one game at a time.
All right.
So you will firmly be supporting Glasgow next weekend?
I don't know. I do actually quite like how the South African teams play. I do love the fact that I love the South Africans just trashing like the status quo. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's good for the competition.
I'd say EPCR did more damage to the Champions Cup than any individual South African team could do.
Because
well, some would argue putting the South African teams in it.
Yeah.
But some would argue messing around with the format.
Do you know what? I'd be very happy, right, if next year Champions Cup...
Increasing the number of teams?
Well, if Champions Cup is announced next year, right, the Bulls should just say, we don't want to be in it. Right? Don't agree to play in it and then throw it away. They agreed to be there, and that's the thing which really annoys me. You know, if they don't want to be there, it's cool. Just don't do anything. Why get to that part of the season? I mean, some teams would kill to be in the knockouts of the Champions Cup, and they threw it away. That's a bit that. Yeah, now I've thought about that. It really annoys me. Just don't go. Give it to someone that wants to compete.
So, the other game, Munster Glasgow.
Glasgow's defence is ace. They're wild. Just the two teams with the two teams who just looked like they were desperate, and that the two teams that looked most desperate won the game.
I have nothing to say about this because I didn't actually see it, so I can't really pitch in.
Glasgow got some hard boys in their team. Rory Darge is hard. Tom Jordan, their scrum half, fly half, is hard. As like Kyle Stain, Sione Tuipulotu. Yeah, he was very good.
I quite enjoyed seeing his celebrations in particular at full time. Because there's been a bit of niggle over the years between Munster and Glasgow on a few occasions. And so this seemed to mean a lot to the Glasgow team, especially going away to Munster, which is always a hard place to go to.
Yeah, I was quite surprised by the results. Actually, I thought this one was a foregone conclusion when I saw the draw. And not to be unkind, but I look at the Glasgow team, and maybe it's because I'm disconnected with the URC. When I look at the Glasgow team, they seem to be a pale impression of previous Glasgow sides. Clearly not.
They've got some awesome players. That back row, Ferguson, Darge and Dempsey is class. You've got an international second row partnership, and then you've got predominantly internationals most way through the backs with a couple of young lads. That Argentine winger,
Cancellieri.
Yeah.
He's cool.
I like
Cancellieri.
Yeah.
Great name.
Yeah.
Hugh Jones and Tuipulotu is a quality centre partnership. I think there's quite a lot to like about this, and not all, but good sprinkling of Scottish internationals.
Also, of Glasgow,
An all-international pack.
Johnny Matthews played?
Yeah. He was in the World Cup squad.
Former Sedgley Park.
Is he?
Yeah, Johnny Matthews.
That's cool.
So, just a quick one on this. Glasgow have to travel to South Africa now.
Yes.
I sincerely hope that they throw it so they can win the Champions Cup group stage.
They could get a message from Razzie to Jake White through this game so we can have a fit team for
absolutely. It's only right,
Ireland in 2 weeks' time.
It's only right. I mean, and if they beat Ireland, it was all worth it.
It is weird that we've got the URC final next weekend, you've got the semi-finals of the top 14 next weekend, the following weekend you've got the final of the top 14, and international rugby's happening. Like, rugby it's nuts.
It is, isn't it?
When you think it's nuts, you know, like the overlap between club and country, and the fact that the French teams, they're finishing. Well, the league officially finishes in another fortnight, and then the season starts at the end of August.
So you've basically got. Well, actually, if you've got a 6-week, 8-week pre-season starts the morning after the final of the top 14.
Long old slog.
It is. That's why they're paid the big bucks.
You know, do the old adage of French clubs are only good at home, which isn't actually true anymore. Well, it is kind of true.
It's not as true as it was.
Well, yeah. So it used to be true because you want to defend. Well, you know the history of French clubs. They're very proud at home and they don't really care.
Spirit of the town clock and all that.
But actually, one of the reasons that this continues.
A lot can happen in 3 years, like a chatbot may be your new best friend. But what won't change? Needing health insurance. United Healthcare Tri-Term Medical Plans, underwritten by Golden Rule Insurance Company, offer flexible, budget-friendly coverage that lasts nearly 3 years in some states. Learn more at uh1.com.
Quality sleep is essential. That's why the Sleep Number Smart Bed is designed for your ever-evolving sleep needs. Need a bed that's firmer or softer on either side? Helps you sleep at a comfortable temperature? Sleep Number Smart Beds let you individualize your comfort so you sleep better together. JD Power ranks Sleep Number number 1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now save 40% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed for a limited time. For JD Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Used to happen is because they are so packed out with fixtures, and they do tend to rest a lot of their players because you can't play them every single week. And if you want to win...
Well, they should. They should play them. They should just work it out.
Well, you can do it in your own league, but you can't do it in the Champions Cup. If you sign the Champions Cup, you've got to play it. Bulls should be banned next year. They should actually be banned.
But they didn't break any rules. So we had this conversation then. To achieve what you want, you should have a smaller Champions Cup squad. Not allow a 44-man Champions Cup squad. You should have a 27-man Champions Cup squad.
But we should ban them anyway. Rugby needs a commissioner. I should be that commissioner.
Yeah, so URC final. I'm going to see, so I'm flying out to Johannesburg, and then the first test is in Pretoria at Loftus Versfeld, the island, in 2 weeks' time. So I'm flying out a week on Monday, a week tomorrow as we record this. But now the final's there, it's not that expensive to change my flight to Friday.
Just do it.
Definitely change.
It'd be a great experience. It'd be a great experience, and
it'd be awesome.
I can't see any downsides to what you're proposing.
Definitely do it. Definitely. Are you flying direct or
London and then Johannesburg?
Manchester to London, London to Joburg.
So
cool.
I think. Well, it's difficult to say this, but still, URC has a big weakness, which is the final is in South Africa. It's a big international competition now, isn't it? And if they want to take it seriously, I think they need a set-piece event. Now, I don't know how they do this, where it is, but the final should be one of the major stadiums or a major event, and they should build it up, because it is a little bit difficult.
I quite like how the seeding carrying all the way through to the final makes... Like the Bulls getting... When you actually look back at it, Leinster didn't send a strong team out to South Africa when they had a 2-match mini tour a couple of months back. They didn't send a good team out, and they got panned by the Lions and the Bulls.
Yeah.
And that's the reason, when you look back at it, that Leinster did not have a home semi-final. And they might be ruining that now.
Well, they will. They certainly will be.
So I quite like that.
That is completely... It's been proven wrong on both counts, because they lost the Champions Cup and then lost the URC.
And the Bulls made the choice about Northampton, calculating that they would need to win some of their games between now and the end of the season to get a seeding. They got seeded second, so when Munster lost, they get the home final,
because they are the top seed in the final.
So yeah, I don't know. Being in the Champions Cup final this year, I love that big set piece event in an unusual stadium for rugby. I thought it was cool. But on the other hand, it is quite cool that you get to fill up your home stadium with your home fans. But is it really a final then? Like, should a final not be neutral? Should it not be a showcase of the entire league?
I mean, you just talked about the Pro D2 access match being played at the team from Pro D2.
No, I didn't actually.
You said that makes it really unusual and unique.
No, I didn't say that. We said that in my kitchen. So just to fill in the listeners.
Oh, right. No, we did say that. We said that in here.
Going.
We said the psychology.
Oh, maybe I did. Sorry, yeah.
Did.
Sorry, I was just going to what I thought we said in the kitchen. But yeah, no, I do agree with that. But that's kind of different, I think. I don't know.
The logistics of it does make it a bit unfair that because the majority of those would have to be in Europe. Those, if you were going to make it a showcase game, you'd have to do, say, 3 in 4 years.
Yeah, and imagine you were the top seeded team, and then you had to travel from Pretoria to Cardiff, and an Irish team or Glasgow only had to do a little.
The danger is Leinster, Munster in Johannesburg with 5 people. I mean, that's a danger, I guess, isn't it?
That would look not great. The Leinster and Munster fans do travel famously well. But that is with a week's notice for 50,000 people to get flights to Johannesburg would be a problem.
Way, because I think Bulls will hopefully fill out their stadium, and that would be cool.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll fill out a stadium, Tim?
Well, if Tim Cochrane's going, that will help fill it out.
I've had some people get in touch. I've had some people get in touch and say you might want to get a shuffle on and get yourself a ticket sorted, because
press access, mate.
Well, I know. I didn't reply with that.
Yeah.
But yes. But yeah. What was I going to say? I was just going to go through. I was just going to look at some emails. Contact eggchasers@gmail.com. I'll just come back to it.
They are mostly about your trip to South Africa.
Yeah, almost all of them.
There's a lot.
There's one guy who wants us to do a review of the Scimitars.
Yes.
Oh yeah. No, I tell you what I need to do. I need to thank our new clubhouse partner.
What? Sorry.
Ooh.
What now?
We have a clubhouse. We have yes, we do. You knew this. JB definitely knew this. We have a new clubhouse partner to announce. So we're in a couple of weeks going to be at an EggChasers rugby team. You two will be at the North Dorset Sevens.
Yes.
Yeah, our new clubhouse partner. We want to make sure we're supported and looking and feeling great when we're in the clubhouse as well as out there on the pitch. So when EggChasers will be running out at North Dorset Sevens and the team will be in their amazing strip, when we go back into the clubhouse, we will be looking outstanding with thanks to Red Jacket Specialist Care, who provide, and they're based in Salisbury and are growing all the time, serve that area, the whole of the southwest and the south of England, and are growing all the time. And domiciliary care, residential care solutions. Now we're getting to that age where we start looking forward a few years, and our parents are going to face challenges.
Whoa. First things first.
Yeah.
Think about the opposition that we're going to play in North Dorset. They might need domiciliary care. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Very true. So that's residential care solutions, at-home support for elderly, for vulnerable, learning challenges, mental health support, physical needs as well, and Red Jacket Specialist Care are the sponsors of the North Dorset Sevens tournament, so they love their rugby.
Oh, fair play.
And they are supporting EggChasers as well, making sure that as a group we are together in the clubhouse, we have that sense of camaraderie, rugby values, and redjacketspecialistcare.co.uk are making sure that happens. I cannot wait for you to hear about and see the clobber that everyone's going to be in. It's going to be exceptional.
Is it
exciting?
Really?
Yeah.
That is exciting.
And it may be, you'll be pleased to hear, JB, in some respects it may be minimal.
Really? Oh, I'm very much looking forward to this.
Got to show off the rigs that everyone's got.
Exactly right.
So
thank
you, redjacketspecialistcare.co.uk. You're going to be hearing a bit of that about.
Well, this will be our third year at North Dorset Sevens. My favourite time of North Dorset Sevens is always the Friday night. I love the Friday night. Although the Saturday night last year was absolutely wild. I love that too. You learn things every time you play Seven. So my biggest learning from last year, and I'm taking this through to CrossFit as well, and almost all other sporting events, is I find it incredibly hard to drink and do sports. Do you find a gassy lager? It's next to impossible. It's
it's that sort of sport. Rugby, Sevens rugby and drinking is a challenge.
You can't do it.
A beer after a long day of cricket. I miss cricket purely for how good that beer tastes at the end of the day.
But here's my learning. Koppenberg, it's
lots of sugar in it. Refreshing.
It is refreshing. You can drink Koppenberg throughout the day and still play at a reasonably good level without that horrible bloated gassy fizz.
It's a great life hack.
Isn't it?
It is.
Isn't it? And I got that from Matt. That was Matt's suggestion. So whether he's applying this in his day job, whatever he does with hard physical activity,
he does a lot of hard physical activity in extreme temperatures. He must stay hydrated. So Koppenberg is undoubtedly the way to go.
What if Koppenberg got any spare sponsorship cash? And also, do you think that what we're saying would pass muster at the the regulator, the advertising standards regulator? Performance drink Koppenberg.
By the way, if you want to come and join our team, whether as just one of the boys in the clubhouse after the game or actually joining the team and turning out for us, contact eggchasers@gmail.com. The North Dorset Sevens is the weekend of the 6th and 7th of July.
Yeah.
So it's very close.
3 weeks' time.
And it's just outside Gillingham in Dorset, so come along. Contact eggchasers@gmail.com. I learnt lots when I was at North Dorset Sevens. I learnt that you need to make sure you keep track of all members of the squad. Some of them just take little strolls at night and then come back in the morning.
Yep.
You never see them again.
With dummies and things. And anyway. You just mentioned CrossFit.
Yes.
One thing I can tell you about the 2-2 SAS regiment, and the fact that I saw this first before you, JB, knowing how much you would want to be there, the gym.
Good.
Oh my goodness.
Is it all properly kitted out? Because military gyms are pretty miserable in a lot of cases.
This is the best gym I've ever. I couldn't take a picture of it because obviously you don't.
Oh, wow.
It's like a CrossFit dream, mate. You walk in the middle of this aircraft hangar sized thing, which is, it's got 10 lanes of sled push and pull at one end.
Good.
It's got
10 lanes.
10 lanes of sled push. It's got a rig with about 30 squat racks on it and pull-up bars and ropes and more kettlebells than I've ever seen. It's even having, you know how in the gym when you want to do that reverse What's that called, Phil? When you have a bar?
Upright row.
No, when you're lying down, you're flat.
Oh, okay.
You're flat and you're doing an...
Yeah, Sale Sharks have got them for the props.
Row.
Yeah, it is just, row.
They had half a dozen of those.
Yeah.
Just purely for that one movement.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
I feel comforted that my tax money is going to...
That's where I'd like it.
Like
that's the kind of thing I'd want it to go to.
Yeah,
definitely.
There's a lot of things I don't want it to go to, but that would be one thing I'd be fine with.
It was
so
absolutely
the military have got onto the functional fitness thing fairly late on, particularly our military. So
they have CrossFit classes on the base every hour.
Do they?
Every hour?
Every hour
Awesome.
through the day.
So
That's cool.
A dear friend of mine who was in the Marines tells the story of going over to America to train with them, and they gave him some sort of CrossFit workout, which was 50 pull-ups or something, some such thing, or 100 pull-ups, which back in the day for the Marines, they could do it, but they didn't realise it's not strict. Everything is strict. As you'd probably do it, Phil, everything was strict. But they, on the US base, were doing the CrossFit thing, which meant that the Marine next to my friend ended up suffering, is it rhabdo?
Rhabdo, yeah.
And nearly died.
Blood poisoning.
Through the pump in his arms.
Wow. There was an amazing sign up in one of the buildings as well, which I thought you'd like. It just said, everything you want is the other side of fear.
Ooh.
Which is pretty sexy. And Austin, what I will reveal about the dinner, the Paddy Mayne dinner, is that Austin Healy wore a velvet electric pink dinner jacket.
Wonderful.
Wow.
I thought he looked
electric
great.
pink.
Everyone took the piss out of him. I thought he looked great.
Love it. Love it.
David Flatman did make the joke that he looked like David Flatman, who's recently had the snip, which I'm sure Flats wouldn't.
What? Why are you disclosing this?
Why am I disclosing this? He said it looked like the most recent time that he inspected his balls. That's what Austin Healy looked like. Sorry, Flats, just revealed that. Shit. Anyway, it was great.
Sounds awesome.
So there's one knockout game that we've not really talked about yet.
Oh yeah,
the Toulon-La Rochelle game.
Oh, I didn't see that. I saw the score.
So seen the score. I've seen the highlights of it. Looked very scrappy at the start. And then La Rochelle, too much power. So it ended up. So the scoreline ended up 29-34, but La Rochelle it was 4 tries to 1, and La Rochelle were more than 2 scores clear with 30 minutes left on the clock, and Toulon scored late on to make it look a bit more respectable. It was La Rochelle's game.
Yeah, it was La Rochelle's game. One thing I did see is that Toulon, because it's been something like 8 years since they've been in the playoffs, or something. I can't remember how many years.
Yeah, probably since 2016, maybe. Yeah,
something like that. And so they walked in through the crowd at Toulon because they were at home on a red carpet that got rolled out for them.
Wow! I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous, isn't it, when you're just in the playoffs?
And again, if you win the game, in hindsight, it looks okay.
No, you roll the red carpet out when you win.
When you win, you definitely have the red carpet. Yeah, it's kind of like wearing your ski goggles before the game.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's the sort of thing that Leinster would probably do.
It's a bit like Munster putting up on their big screen
Champions.
Final, but Munster v Bulls next Saturday.
selling
Park.
tickets for the game that they've not even qualified for yet.
Just as we said, Ronan O'Gara's in a semi-final. Let's just remind ourselves of this.
On joue Bordeaux, samedi, c'est comme ça. À Dublin, on était outsiders. Samedi, on est favorites. Mais ton humeur, ton performance, c'est dicté par le mec à l'extérieur, c'est dicté par ici.
Wait for the
Il y a
line.
tellement de choses de progresser dans cette équipe, je m'en fucking fous d'adversaire, c'est ici. Est-ce que vous avez faim ou vous êtes intéressé de progresser ou on va fucking prendre vacances samedi? C'est pas possible ça.
I want to play.
Wait, yeah, I know. Wait for it. This is the line.
L'opportunity, c'est fucking énorme.
That's the one.
Yes.
Opportunity, say fucking enorm. There are people, when you go to rugby matches now, there's people with that O'Gara's face and that phrase on a T-shirt.
I don't think he'll ever be Ireland coach.
O'Connell.
I just don't think he has played the game well. I mean, he's played the game brilliantly.
He's played it
He's
brilliantly.
not the company man.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. I
Yeah.
just don't think the IRFU like him.
Well, it's kind of like Gatland will never be New Zealand coach.
Yeah, although, I also don't think Gatland deserves it. So Gatland's career is all Welsh rugby, isn't it? And making a bad team great.
Yeah.
Or good, I should say.
He's not done the same
Super
thing.
Rugby didn't work for him. I mean, you can't cut it up in any other way, can you? It did not work for him. And if Super Rugby doesn't work for you, how are you going to put all the players in Super Rugby together for the All Blacks? I think Gatland would be great at England, but anyway. So yeah, I just don't. I think I'd love O'Gara to do something weird, like become England coach one day, or win a few more Champions Cups and win a top 14, and just not get the Ireland job.
I would have O'Gara as England coach.
Yeah,
I like Borthwick. I don't want to get rid of him at all.
Yeah, exactly.
But when that runs its course, which everything inevitably does, I would have O'Gara.
I'd love him to get a big English job.
Yeah, I'd go for that.
But yeah, it'd be amazing if he wins some. I just want him to win as much stuff as possible. Of the RFU, still not say, yeah, you're the man.
In that Toulon-La Rochelle game, there were, I think it's 5. Let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 British players playing. Can you name them?
Jack Knoll.
Singleton.
Jack Singleton. Dave Ribbons, technically English international. South Africa.
No, he's English.
Oh, he's half English. Yeah, he is. Dave Ribbons.
Kieran Brooks.
Oh, he's on the bench. Yeah, last game.
There's a 6th. Sorry, I've just missed. So there's
Ben White.
Ben White.
Ben White. Yeah.
And
wait for it. It is. Oh, come on! Don't fail me now. Donaher, Declan. No, second row Irish guy for La Rochelle.
Oh no, he's a coach. Donica Ryan.
He's
coach.
Okay.
They do. So he wasn't playing. They do have. What's his name? Ultain Delan.
That's.
But I did say British. He's not British.
Okay, fair enough. Harry Williams. No, he's at Montpellier.
He scored the last points of the game.
Ryan Lamb. This is for.
So Toulon got the last try. He knocked over the conversion for Toulon. It's the last conversion.
Toulon, British Toulon.
Huh? Jaminet was that guy kicking.
He was.
I have no idea.
He's a British and Irish lion.
Oh, Biggs.
Dan Bigger.
Yeah. There you go.
And then one more, but only if you count his mother's side.
Aha. Is it Cornell Dupree?
No, there might be others actually. That it was Gregory Aldreet, Scottish.
Okay. Cornell Dupree's another one. Scottish international.
Yeah.
Of course he is.
There's loads.
I was astonished when I saw Cornell Dupree turn out for Toulon. Astonished.
Yeah.
What? Who?
And we won't talk about the knockout rugby in Super Rugby because my beloved Hurricanes went down to the Chiefs.
Oh no!
At home to the Chiefs.
My beloved Landers weren't even in it.
Yeah.
Well, Canterbury allegedly have got some outsiders, a third party, to do the investigation on how it went so wrong.
It needs a big old investigation. That
does it?
How they've gone from
it was the logo. That's what they said when you made your logo, like a pair of double dongs.
Let's not get into new logos, Tim. But does it work on the internet?
But they've gone from 3 wins on the bounce, 4 wins on the bounce, to not even qualifying for the playoffs. Like breaking all records in terms of losing to everyone.
The only person with any connection to the Crusaders who's happy is Todd Blackadder. He's not the only one.
His 8 years, all 8 were the worst years of Crusaders history, and now they are, instead of being 1 to 8 worst years, they are now 2 to 9 in the worst years of Crusaders history.
Yeah, congratulations, Todd Blackadder.
He's doing all right in Japan.
Is he?
We should talk about the summer internationals then, preview those a little bit. So next weekend we've got, because it's outside of the official sanctioned international window, but nonetheless.
Why don't we do the unofficial ones? And we can get into the official ones, like company men next week.
Yeah,
definitely. So the unofficial ones, the what was that? The WWE Challenger brand that they ended up swallowing up.
ECW.
Is it ECW?
No. Yes, ECW. So there's WCW, obviously, and that merged with WWE.
Yeah.
ECW was the one, and it was different because it was based in one location. Kurt Angle was in that for a long time.
Like Nitro and things like that. Anyway, it's like that. We've got this spin-off. It's international rugby, but not
as we know it.
Not proper. But nonetheless, they're capped internationals. It's England against Japan in Tokyo, is it?
It is.
Yeah.
Was it Yokohama?
No, it is in Tokyo.
Tokyo.
I think it might be the stadium that we watched England-Japan with maybe one too many strong zeros.
I could not find that stadium again for the life of me.
I think it's that stadium.
So England will
good.
Up against Eddie Jones's Japan. Michael Leach of Japan said that he thinks that the plan is for them to be a top 4 team by the next World Cup.
I mean, it's a great plan.
Yeah,
It's a great plan.
got to have aspirations.
Yep.
How old is Michael Leach now?
36, surely.
35. 36 this year. So, yeah. In 3 years' time. He might still be playing for Japan, actually.
No, I mean...
Well, if he is, they're not a top 4 team. I can tell you that much.
yeah.
If he's there, he's failed.
Yeah.
England without... You'd think it'll be without their Northampton and Bath players, but not necessarily.
Yeah, probably, but...
Bit early to bring them in, I think.
Yeah, not necessarily. They had 1 week off. There's been... don't know if you saw the O2 Inside Line that got released late last week or over the weekend, just showing England in camp. They're all in there training, so doing strength and conditioning, doing stuff on the pitch.
Yeah.
So they've dried out, clearly.
From that point of view, you're going to have to play one of them at 12 unless you play Luke Northmore at 12.
You could play at 12.
Could play at 12.
Big, strong boy.
Yep.
I think the 12 options...
Lawrence and
Stingers, yeah.
I think the more interesting thing about this is it's England versus Eddie. I think everything else is kind of secondary. Eddie obviously hates England with a passion. He describes Bill Sweeney as a man he wouldn't shake hands with, which is how I would also describe Bill Sweeney.
So you and Eddie would get on famously.
Yeah. But the big difference is between me and Eddie, Bill Sweeney's never paid me, £800,000?
Yeah.
Now, if Bill Sweeney had paid me £800,000 for the best part of 6 years, I would happily shake his hand. Everything would be right as rain.
But not when he stopped paying you.
Yeah.
For that period, you would shake his hand. Afterwards.
Bill Sweeney has furnished Eddie Jones's house many, 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 many times. He would do well to shake his hand.
Are England going to be able to pick up where they left off against Ireland? And play... I think the selection of Harry Randall's the one that suggests to me that there is a mindset shift in this England team, and they are going to expand and build upon what they did against Ireland.
Can Harry Randall kick? Because he's going to need to kick.
Yeah, he can kick, but the choice was Jack Van Portfleet and Harry Randall. They can both do all of it to different degrees, but when you select Harry Randall over Jack Van Portfleet, it says to me, we want 2 Alex Mitchells, not 2 Ben Spencers. Although everyone can do all of it.
Yeah, they can, because like we say, not Ben Spencer. When I think of Ben Spencer, I think of a rapid human. Like, he is so fast.
Yeah.
He is.
And you know what? Van Portfleet is fast too, but his kicking's better. England are very lucky with the scrum offs that they've got, actually. They just need to decide which ones they're going to go with and stick with them and hope not for injury.
You say that, I think the potential is for them to be very good, but it's only very recently that... I mean, think back to what we were saying about scrum half before the World Cup. We were saying we're just not good enough.
But this is
we
a little
are not
bit like
good enough.
the Sexton thing. So I kind of blame Sexton for... I don't blame Sexton. It's not his fault he gets picked. I blame the Irish authorities for keeping Sexton in place for so long, in the same way I blame the English authorities for keeping Ben Youngs in place for so long. They've got loads of talent.
I sympathise with Ireland because Sexton was the best for that long period of time, save for the period when Paddy Jackson was pushing him, and then, for obvious reasons that we don't need to repeat, Paddy Jackson left Ireland.
Yeah.
Ben Youngs, I think, maybe early on in his career there was a period where he was the best. For most of the last 5 or 6 years,
and of course,
I don't believe he was the best in England.
Yeah, and so you've got to ask the questions: what was Owen Farrell doing to Ben Spencer throughout this time? But no one likes to talk about that, do they? So England have got good options. I think Van Portfleet is probably the best of all the options. Mitchell does bring something. They're all slightly different.
But Van Portfleet is not an option.
No, he didn't go, did he?
No.
But Randall's great.
Mitchell's excellent. That's all good. I haven't got a problem. But he is England are in some positions. England are some way short of the best in the world. Significantly short.
Every team in the world is at 9.
Yeah,
every team is short. Jameson Gibson Park being probably the closest.
Yeah,
but every
miles away from the top man.
Every team is miles away.
Yeah, that's fair.
The only one in England, I think, has got the raw talent to make a challenge to Dupont, and this is a massive, massive leap because he's not played enough, and I doubt he will because he won't play. It's probably someone like Rafi Quirk because he's so uniquely talented.
Yeah, he's
So
exceptionally talented, but he is just not.
He's not playing, is he?
Last 3 years, he's just
not kicked on.
hardly strung 3 games together.
He would need to play at least 2 years consistent rugby before he's back in the conversation.
And I think, and you know how much I love Rafi Quirk. He lives locally.
Yep.
Namesake of your beloved Broughton Park.
Exactly. He comes down and helps the boys coach and stuff. So I'm a massive fan. I'll always stick up for him and stuff. But Rafi Quirk would be the prime example of why getting the kids in is a fallacy and how you can overestimate based on potential. Because there were a lot of people a few years ago in 2021 saying, get Rafi Quirk in and he should be picked every time for England.
I agree, he should have. But he got injured. Honestly, I think if he's fit, we'd be talking about one of the world's best now. But he's been injured. That's a big difference. I would have given him a go, definitely.
Well, he's been fit enough and long enough at Sale to have got the number 1 job there.
No, he's not played for like nearly 2. Well,
he has. He's been playing, but he's not been able to force his way past Gus Waugh.
That's what I mean. Scotland's Gus Waugh.
Yeah. Aaron Reid. Scotland's Aaron Reid.
Yeah. England's Joe Carpenter. I didn't see that coming.
I did.
Rule book I saw, Carpenter
got George Ford's spot. Joe Carpenter got George Ford's spot because he wasn't. Because you've got the other fullbacks in the team. You've got Furbank and Stewart. You wouldn't take a third fullback.
So you think there was they had a taxi booked from Manchester. There was a brace of curries.
Exactly.
There was rule book. It's one more spot.
Yeah.
It's got to go to Carpenter. It was supposed to be George Ford.
That's what happened.
I would say I'd sooner have Carpenter than Roebuck go to England tour.
Oh, really?
Really? I thought, yeah.
I
like Roebuck, but I don't think he's special.
I like Roebuck. Carpenter.
I think Carpenter's got a lot about him. Like his returning. I mean,
just trying to think.
Again, he's a different sort of option. And there was something in the paper about him, and one of the quotes that came back and I thought was really good was, being a fullback's not just about catching the ball, but beating the first defender, and that's how you differentiate yourself, because that's how you start the attacks. Like, yeah, that's quite a cool thing to think, and that's how you make yourself a bit different.
And that's something that Mike Brown, when he was at his best, who's probably my favourite England fullback post Jason Robinson, was sensational at. Just always beating that first
launch that attack. To be fair, though, Stewart's pretty good at beating the first defender because he's big. Not maybe the same way, but he does seem to beat the first defender when he catches the ball.
Which he does predominantly.
To go back to squad spots.
What did you say at one point? He catches 80% of the 50-50s.
Yeah, something like that.
But 100%. So he catches 100% of the easy ones, and then 80% of the ones that you would expect the opposition to catch 50 of.
Something like that.
So he's catching 60% of the opposition's.
He does tend to drop a lot of balls, I find.
I really don't think he does it. I think he's lauded as.
Well, what we'll do, next Leicester game, we'll watch him and we'll count all of his errors, both defensively and in the air. Well, he's astonished.
So defensively, I agree with.
He's all over the show.
It's in the air. I just don't. Everyone drops the occasional ball. I think Freddie Stewart is superb under the high ball. I think it's the best part of his game.
Let's watch him next year. We'll see.
We'll watch him next week.
None of that changes the fact that in a 3-match tour, you do not need to take 3 out-and-out fullbacks. So one of those guys got on because George Ford.
But England have played with 3 fullbacks. Oh, just so you know.
Sorry.
But England have regularly played with 3 fullbacks. So Watson, Brown, and Daly have often played together.
Well, in the Fiji game, they played with 3 fly halves. Yeah. You had Ford, Farrell, and Marcus Smith playing at fullback. Yeah.
Would he put Joe Carpenter on the wing? Probably not fast enough. I don't know. Maybe he would.
Yeah.
Got no idea.
What's his name? Furbank is the third 10, isn't he? So, hence why you... And because Stewart has been played both for Leicester and England on the wing a little bit, so he's obviously considered a winger and fullback.
What are you thinking for, just again, we can go into it in more depth next week, but England, what if you had to predict Japan 2 tests against New Zealand, what are they coming back with?
Well, they're going to beat Japan, I think.
They've got anything less than a win is unacceptable.
Yeah, I think Japan get done. I think there's going to be lots of scores to settle from the England boys.
So, I think there'll be some fun and games from Eddie. There'll be some tactic not the Fox, but like there'll be something unusual that's been planned for a long period of time that happens.
DuPont law ends. No, this is the last time when DuPont law is in effect.
Yeah.
Does that mean Does that mean it changes from top 14 semi-final to top 14 final?
Absolutely, when DuPont's playing.
That's so World Rugby, that.
Yeah.
Will DuPont even be playing that because the Olympics starts, or is that
It's a great
bit
point.
later?
Great point.
Well, they brought him into the Olympics squad. I thought, oh, he's really good. Send him back.
He's already good enough at this.
Yeah.
But as in, if he's actually playing in the Olympics, he's not doing both. I mean, DuPont probably could, but
yeah, he probably could.
I don't know when the Olympics starts.
Right, so
England are coming away with a win against Japan. We'll think that. What about 2 games against New Zealand?
why don't we know?
Okay,
who's in
so the Olympics is later.
Squad. I have no idea about the New Zealand team, so I'm going to duck that question until I know a bit more about it. But I'd hope they'd pick up. I expect they lose. I don't know. The answer is I don't know.
New Zealand haven't been beaten by England in, what's the stadium, the place of the second test? They haven't been beaten there in some crazy length of time, like decades.
Hopefully they'll just field a full Crusaders team.
The second test is that the second test? Eden Park.
Yeah, Eden Park.
Is that the second? Yeah, it must be.
Auckland. England haven't won there in forever. I think a good result would be a win against Japan and 1-1.
Yeah,
I
agree.
That'd be good.
I think that'd be a good result.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I would take good win against Japan and lots of positives and 2 narrow losses.
Yeah, I'd be all right with that.
But it would be really nice to win one.
Wales, Australia, 2 basket cases. It's going to be fun. But Wales first place, a South Africa 15. Don't know exactly what that's going to be a load of new faces, but
yeah,
nonetheless, South Africa to win.
And no one who's playing in Europe will be eligible to play because it's outside the window.
All playing for the Bulls.
All playing for the Bulls because they've got prior engagements. And it's a bit weird that I've not read anything about why it's at Twickenham. I assume it's a RFU money-making exercise, but why have Wales and South Africa agreed to fill Twickenham's coffers? Now, they must be getting their pound of flesh. They must be getting paid whatever their
It's Fiji v the Barbarians there as well in a double header.
Double header, yeah. But it does seem weird.
Would you want to go and watch that? It's 2 games. Wales against South Africa and Fiji against Barbarians.
I'd watch South Africa.
At Twickenham.
Yeah, I'd watch South Africa. Not bother about Wales or Barbarians, but I'd watch South Africa.
But it's a big money spinner for the RFU. So why are South Africa and Wales playing ball?
They must. Yeah,
they'll be getting paid.
They'll get paid.
But surely Wales would have
more
made
games.
more.
Just games I don't need to see. That's how I think of that.
Surely Wales would be getting
Hang
more.
on. Is it a South African home game though?
I don't know.
That'll probably be what it is.
It's at Twickenham, so
yeah. But if it's because it's a summer tour, South Africa will be the home team. I suspect.
Yeah, but they're not just going to go, oh, thanks Twickenham, we'll have your stadium and it's our money.
Yeah,
thanks.
because that's how they get Wales there, and also how they get all the European players to play a game without overly affecting them, I'd imagine. And also,
the European players aren't available.
Oh, well, I've got no idea then. Maybe it's the South African, I can't even say the word, population in London. It might just be the best way, to try and get some extra cash for an extra tour game.
Yeah, but there'll be a bit of cash going to South Africa and Wales because they'll be getting a cut of the match fee. But the union making the most money out of that game will be the RFU.
Yeah.
It seems odd anyway. But it will be. I would definitely go to that. It will be a good spectacle.
What else we got? Those are the games.
Those are the 3 games. Until 29th of June, the week after.
Until we get up to the big tour, and then everyone's got their eyes on Scotland against USA, Canada, Uruguay.
I quite like that tour. That'll be a good tour.
It will. I mean, it'll be great fun.
Yeah, it will.
The result's not in doubt, though.
Tell you what, if I was a player going on one tour this year, that's a tour that I'd want to go on.
That'd be fun.
100%.
There are a few cool games after that. So you've got in the coming weeks, you've got Samoa hosting Italy in Ipia.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Georgia hosting Fiji in Georgia is pretty cool.
Would that take you out east?
Nope.
I fancy going to Georgia.
You fancy going east, you maniac.
I quite like that. What else have we got? Big. Chile versus Hong Kong. That'd be quite cool.
Yep.
That would be cool. What's the Santiago? Is that in?
That is in Talca, Estadio Fiscal de Talca, which I assume is in 150 miles south. I mean, south of Santiago. Everything's north or south in Chile. There's no east or west, is there? So Italy then play Tonga. In Tonga, that's awesome. Italy doing a Pacific Island tour. Spain travel to Samoa to play in Apia. So there's a few cool...
Who is paying for that, by the way?
Who knows?
Well, it's always the host nation that pays for the
travel
side.
So probably World Rugby ultimately.
Yeah, standard. And then everyone will whinge about how World Rugby don't pay their way.
Yeah. Georgia travel to Japan as well.
Nice.
That's cool.
Right.
Cool.
Shall we go and support Serbia then?
I'm going to support Bordeaux.
Yeah, Bordeaux.
Bordeaux.
Definitely Bordeaux.
I'm supporting... actually, I know I want Bordeaux to win. Bordeaux-Toulouse would be a crazy final.
You'll, of course, be supporting Stuart Lancaster.
Oh, well, yeah. If Stuart Lancaster... Yeah, I need to make some big life decisions between Racing and Toulouse. Who would I most align with?
You were in the Spurs stadium. You were very much supporting Toulouse.
I really enjoyed it.
You were the bloke in front of you. You were high-fiving him, patting him on the back.
Telling him who the players were. But I just think Racing is more me. Once they get... Oh, no. They're going to have some dark times with their leadership group. Maybe they might just inspire their way to victory with the team that they've got.
Maybe.
The team talks will be magnificent, if nothing else.
If only Henry Arundel would chase some damn kicks.
Yeah.
Maybe next year when Faz...
Too busy listening to the inspirational speeches. Between those three people... Will the speeches ever end in Racing? Between Stuart Lancaster, bloody Sia Khaleesi and Owen Farrell.
I don't think...
Faz doesn't do speeches.
Faz is not a big speeches man.
But he is. Big.
I don't think he is.
He must be.
He comes from the Martin Johnson mould of captaincy. Just
less is more.
Yeah, less is more.
More smashes.
Right, come on, let's go. I'm done.
Right,
Perfect.
contact eggchasers@gmail.com. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. Get more content at patreon.com/eggchasers and let the boys end.
Roundabout Season 2, presented by Nissan, is live now, and we're back to share more stories from the road and the memories made along the way. We're talking rest stops, if we're stopping to get gas. You will be timed. Misguided plans.
I grew up in the city, so I have a healthy fear of real extreme darkness.
A lot of laughs.
Y'all weird, but you were different.
And so much more. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Ah, the sizzle of McDonald's sausage. It's enough to make you crave your favorite breakfasts. Enough to head over to McDonald's. Enough to make you really wish this commercial were scratch and sniff.
And if you're a sausage person, now get 2 satisfyingly savory sausage McGriddles, sausage biscuits, or sausage burritos for just $3.33. Or mix and match. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Whether you're a morning person or a bedtime procrastinator, everyone deserves a mattress that works for their style. And you'll find the best mattress for you at Ashley. The new Temper-Adapt collection at Ashley brings you one-of-a-kind body-conforming technology, making every sleep tailored to be your best. The collection also features cool-to-the-touch covers and motion absorption to help minimize sleep disruptions from partners, pets, or kids. Shop the all-new Temper-Adapt collection at Ashley, in-store or online at ashley.com. Ashley, for the love of home.